Okay, so let's dive in. We're looking today at Floyd Money Mayweather. And there's this huge, almost unbelievable financial paradox here.
Right.
He retires undefeated, 50 low, career earnings, reportedly top $1.2 billion.
Yeah, I mean, just pause on that number. $1.2 billion. It's astronomical for an individual athlete, more than some sports teams are worth.
Absolutely. It's like generational wealth territory, a total outlier.
Definitely.
But here's the confusing part, right? It's 2025 now. And you look at the estimates, his current net worth is maybe $500 million, somewhere in that range.
Which, okay, is still a massive amount of money, let's be clear.
Oh, for sure. But it means what, $700 million, maybe more, has kind of vanished, or at least isn't showing up on the balance sheet.
And that's where the whispers start. You hear these rumors, financial trouble, cash poor. It seems impossible after earning that much.
Exactly. So that's our mission for you today. We want to really unpack how someone earns $1.2 billion, but still faces these persistent questions about their actual financial health.
Yeah.
About liquidity.
Yeah, and I think the key thing we need to explore is the difference between earning money and actually keeping it, holding on to it.
Right.
And with Mayweather, what's so fascinating is how he transcended just being an athlete. He didn't just make money, he weaponized the idea of money. The perception became part of the business model.
The show was as important as the punch.
You got it. The bling, the stacks of cash, it was all strategic.
Okay, so let's trace that back, because this shift from just, an incredibly talented boxer to this financial powerhouse, it really hinges on one specific, very bold move he made.
The foundation, really.
Let's call this section 1, the control play.
This is what set him apart. See, most boxers back then, and even now, are tied to big promoters. You know the names, Don King, Bob Arum.
And those promoters take a huge slice of everything, right? The fight purse, the gate, the sponsorships.
Everything. They essentially own the fighter's business trajectory. The fighter gets a percentage, often a smaller one than you'd think.
But Mayweather saw that differently. He wasn't just thinking about winning in the ring. He was thinking about the P&L statement.
He wanted to be the house, not just a player at the table.
He wanted to be CEO of Mayweather Inc.
Pretty much. So 2006, he does something kind of crazy at the time. He pays $750,000 to buy himself out of his contract with Top Rank.
Which sounds like a lot, but compared to what came next.
It was peanuts. It was probably the single best financial investment he ever made. It bought him his freedom.
And with that freedom, he immediately starts Mayweather Promotions.
And boom, that ownership changes the entire equation. Suddenly he controls everything.
Who he fights, where he fights.
How it's marketed.
And crucially, the revenue splits, especially as you mentioned, pay-per-view.
And those PPV numbers, they're just wild. His fights brought in, over $1.67 billion in PPV revenue?
Yeah, from something like 24 million buys. It's a record. He wasn't just getting the fighter's cut anymore.
He was getting the promoter's cut, the marketing cut, all of it. He basically took the middleman, who usually takes the lion's share, and just kicked him out of the equation.
He started earning like a Fortune 500 CEO, not just a boxer getting a paycheck.
Exactly. Because he owned the platform. He won the negotiation outside the ring before he even stepped inside it. That $750K wasn't just buying out a contract. It was buying control of his own economic engine.
Okay, so he builds this incredible money-making machine. He's got total control. The money starts flowing in like tsunami levels of cash.
Unbelievable spikes in income.
Which brings us to the next big tension point, section 2. The earning spikes versus, the spending abyss.
Yeah, the cash flow was huge, but it was also really, really irregular. Volcanic, like you said, but not steady.
Right, so let's look at the biggest spikes. That 2015 fight, Pacquiao, generated, $600 million total?
Around that, yeah. Massive event.
And Mayweather's personal take from that one night was reportedly $220 million.
Let's let that sink in. One night's work.
Then, 2 years later, 2017, he does the crossover thing with Conor McGregor. Another monster event, over $600 million generated again.
Then Mayweather slice. Even bigger. Reportedly $280 million.
For the McGregor fight.
Yeah.
Someone calculated it. He was in the ring for 28 minutes?
Yeah, about that.
And if you break down that $280 million payout, it comes out to something like $7.8 million per minute.
Per minute. So it's almost nonsensical. Like the fight itself becomes secondary to the financial event.
So wait, $7.8 million a minute. That almost makes the strategy clear, doesn't it? It's not about belts anymore. It's about maximizing the per minute return.
That seems to be the end game, yeah. Create the biggest possible event, generate the biggest lump sum in the shortest amount of ring time.
But that kind of income structure,
Yeah.
these huge, infrequent windfalls, That's got to be tough to manage, financially speaking. It's not like a monthly salary.
Exactly. It creates a really precarious situation if you're not incredibly disciplined with cash flow. You need to make that money last.
And discipline isn't maybe the first word that springs to mind with the money Mayweather persona we see.
No. The spending is legendary and kind of central to the brand, but also a huge financial drain.
Our sources detail some of it. It's not just like nice living. It's extreme.
Oh, yeah. Forget a couple of nice cars. We're talking reports of him buying over 100 luxury cars just between 2010 and 2020.
100. And apparently a lot of them just sat there, never driven.
Just part of the collection, like a personal showroom. Then there are the private jets, at least 2. One for him, one for the entourage.
Imagine the fuel costs alone.
And the multi-million-dollar gambling nights. That's cash, just gone. Potentially in hours. Buying the same Rolls Royce in multiple colors just because.
The overhead must be insane. Insurance, maintenance, staff, security for all this. It's constantly eating cash, liquid cash.
And that's the absolute key. It creates this enormous drag on liquidity. This is where you get the aha moment about those cash poor rumors.
Explain that.
Well, owning a $60 million jet or a fleet of Bugattis makes you wealthy on paper. Your net worth is high. But it doesn't mean you have cash in the bank.
Right. Assets aren't the same as cash.
Exactly. If your lifestyle costs tens of millions a year to maintain, but your income only arrives in these giant chunks every couple of years, you can very quickly become asset rich and cash poor.
And there was evidence of this, wasn't there? The IRS issue.
Yes. This was pretty widely reported after that huge $220 million Pacquiao payday in 2015.
Okay.
He apparently had to ask the IRS for like an installment plan or a delay to pay taxes he owed from way back in 2010.
Wow. So he gets a $220 million check, but potentially doesn't have enough immediate cash on hand to cover an old tax bill.
That's what the report suggests. It's the classic liquidity crunch. He has the money coming, tied up in the event proceeds, future payments, but maybe not enough in his checking account right then to settle up.
It's like owning a mansion, but struggling to pay the electricity bill.
Kind of, yeah. On a much grander scale. It shows that despite the massive net worth, he might have been living spike to spike, relying on the next big payday just to cover the costs generated by the last one. That's risky.
Which perfectly sets up why he needed to keep generating headlines, keep creating events, even after retiring.
Yeah.
It leads right into Section 3, wealth as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Money wasn't just for buying things anymore. It became like his main tool.
Yeah.
A stage, a message, maybe even a shield.
It's a feedback loop, really. He flaunts the extreme wealth.
Yeah.
The watches, the cars, the cash stacks.
That's the brand.
Exactly. Pure branding. He's selling this fantasy of like untouchable financial freedom, and the more outrageous the display, the more attention it gets.
Which makes his brand more valuable.
Which attracts more opportunities, bigger appearance fees, better endorsement deals. It all feeds itself. He was kind of an early version of the creator athlete, packaging his entire life as content.
Controlling the narrative.
Oh.
But sometimes that branding seems to push the boundaries of, well, reality, which feels risky too. Let's talk about that Manhattan building claim.
Yeah, that was a big one. This was 2023. He publicly announces, or heavily implies, that he's acquired this huge office tower in Manhattan, like a $400 million property.
Which sounds impressive. It reinforces that image.
Mm-hmm.
Money Mayweather, the global tycoon.
Right. Makes him look like he's playing in a whole different league beyond boxing.
But the story didn't quite hold up, did it? Investigators, like a Business Insider, they looked into it.
And they couldn't find any public records. No deeds, no filings linking him or his companies to that specific $400 million tower he seemed to be referencing.
So here's the question for you, the listener. If your whole brand is built on financial power, isn't claiming a massive asset you don't actually own incredibly risky? Couldn't that backfire and damage the brand's credibility?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? For a normal business person, yes. Maybe for Mayweather, it's different.
How so?
He seems to operate under different rules. He's sort of mastered turning controversy itself into engagement. Maybe the buzz generated by the claim and the subsequent skepticism was worth more to him than the actual ownership.
Huh. So he doesn't need to own it. He just needs us talking about whether he could own it.
It's possible. It reinforces the perception of limitless wealth. That perception attracts the real money, the exhibition fight purses, the endorsement deals. He seems to understand that in his world, attention is currency. Bad headlines, good headlines, as long as they're headlines.
He manufactures outrage and then cashes the check.
Pretty much. Think about the McGregor fight, pure spectacle. Some called it a gimmick. but it made him hundreds of millions.
Which explains that famous quote of his, "I'm the best at legal bank robbery."
That quote is brilliant, isn't it? So self-aware.
Yeah.
It acknowledges that the hype, the craziness, the sheer profitability of the spectacle he creates. He's basically saying, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but look how much money I made. He controls the joke by telling it himself.
Okay, so we've seen the strategy, the control, the spending, the branding illusions. Let's try and pin down in section 4 what his real net worth looks like now. What are the tangible assets versus the intangible one?
Okay, the tangible stuff is still seriously impressive, even if it's not $1.2 billion. He definitely still owns multiple mansions. That big one in Vegas reported cost $10 million. Places in Beverly Hills, too.
Still has the jets.
Yep. The 2 private jets are still reportedly part of the portfolio. One's said to be worth maybe $60 million on its own.
And the car collection.
The fleet of over 100 cars. Bugattis, Ferraris, Rolls-Royces, that seems to be intact, or at least large parts of it. Plus jewelry collections worth, tens of millions easily.
So lots of valuable stuff. But, as we discussed, that stuff costs a fortune to maintain and isn't liquid.
Exactly. Which is why the intangible assets are arguably much more important for his ongoing financial health.
What are those?
Primarily his name, his brand. The Money Mayweather persona. It's still incredibly potent globally.
Potent enough that he can still command huge paydays for, well, not exactly high-level boxing anymore.
Right. These exhibition fights he does now, in Japan, the Middle East, they're basically glorified sparring sessions against, YouTubers or MMA fighters.
But he gets paid millions for them.
6, even 7-figure appearance fees, reportedly, for minimal training, minimal effort, and basically zero risk of losing or getting hurt.
So his reputation itself is like a cash machine he can just turn on whenever he needs to.
That's a good way to put it. He's built this, self-contained financial ecosystem around himself. He doesn't need a league or a team owner or a salary cap to tell him what he can earn.
He is the league.
He's the promoter, the star, the brand, the whole show. His real worth today might be less about the cars in the garage and more about his clout, his visibility, his timing.
It's fascinating. He's not really a retired boxer in the traditional sense. He's more like a permanent, walking, talking main event.
He is the storyline, the controversy, the spectacle. It's all part of the package he controls and monetizes.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up, pulling it all together. We started with this paradox. $1.2 billion earned, maybe $500 million net worth now. He's clearly not a billionaire by Forbes' standards.
No, seems unlikely based on available info.
And he's definitely faced, or at least navigated, some serious liquidity challenges because of the spending versus the income spike.
That's for sure. The IRS situation points to that.
But, and this is the big but, he seems almost uniquely financially autonomous. He's still calling the shots, still generating millions on his own terms.
And that word control really is the key takeaway here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mayweather seems to relentlessly chase visibility, maybe not just for ego, but because he understands that attention is the capital in his business.
Yeah.
His empire today is built on perception, on brand, almost more than on physical assets.
So maybe the goal was never long-term, diversified, passive wealth in the way a financial advisor would recommend.
It seems like the goal was always maximizing the next big payday, having access to the largest possible lump sum right now to fuel the lifestyle that is the brand.
So when you look at the whole picture, maybe he isn't the richest person who ever earned that much money.
Probably not, in terms of retained invested wealth.
But maybe he's the freest, because he took fame and controversy and turned them into complete financial independence and control over his own destiny.
He might just be. He wrote his own rules for the money game.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. If being rich isn't just about the number in your bank account, but maybe more about what you can control, then who really gets to decide how wealthy someone is? Is it the accountants? Or is it the person themselves, dictating terms to the world watching them?
Yeah, a good question. It suggests that maybe the most important fight Floyd Mayweather ever won wasn't in the ring at all. It was the fight for control over his own narrative and his own bank account.